She remembers growing up in the quiet, isolated hills of West Virginia, where everyone knew your name before finals week. She chose a small school, close enough she could walk home every weekend, but still big enough for late-night snacks and shared hallway stories, just 15 minutes away. The perfect balance between independence and comfort. She stayed put, broke but determined to make the most of her college experience. Every weekend she returned to her childhood bedroom, a sanctuary amidst chaos. Her dream, late-night snacks and dorm hall gossip, the kind of life she craved. Her first real connection was a message, sweet and polite on screen, quieter than expected in person. In her roommate's presence, calm, confident, surrounded by familiar companionship. She told her roommate she'd return at precisely 6 a.m., a promise repeated each weekend. Her roommate just nodded, quiet and unreadable. That's when she noticed someone was leaning against her bed, motionless, unseen. She turned to face her, sleeping peacefully, unaware she had just moved. She didn't scream, just returned to sleep, heart pounding silently. She walked in, saw her lying down again, facing my side of the bed. She looked asleep, felt the mattress dip, squeezed eyes shut, felt someone sitting beside me, cold, firm. Didn't squeeze, just held there like waiting. My heart stopped. Hours later, they finally got up. Still didn't move. Stood frozen, terrified. She was sleeping again, back to the wall. But I wasn't fooled. Left immediately. Called my mom. Told her everything. She reported it to school. Got switched rooms. Thank God. They asked if I wanted police involved. Nah, I said. No proof she did anything. Just asked them not to give her another roommate again. Remembered some things. How she once mentioned a previous roommate who didn't stick around long. Never explained why. Also remembered she once opened a locked drawer full of 10 bottles of prescription meds. Said it was for skin issues. Wondered if that was true. Maybe something else lurking beneath. Side effects. A few days later, realized I'd left a book and binder in her room. Didn't care much about the book, but she messaged me, asking me to come pick it up. Told her I had too much on my plate, but agreed. Didn't want to look suspicious. Key still worked. Walked in, empty, relieved. Grabbed stuff, turned to leave. And there she was, standing in the doorway. Didn't hear her unlock it. She just smiled, tried to stay calm, walked past her. Then she asked, "Where's your new room?" I said, "First floor." She asked, "Which hall?" I lied. I said, "Near the stairs." She pressed again, another lie. I said, "Front entrance, near the office," turned around and left. Never saw her again. Thought about telling her boyfriend, but too scared to face him. Still, think about it now. Was I hallucinating sleep paralysis? Couldn't be. I could move. Only we had keys, maybe she was. Sleepwalking, just another symptom or the first sign of something far more dangerous. Her mother believed the roommates were conducting some kind of experiment, measuring how near they could come to Annabelle's nightmares. One fateful morning, the first time Annabelle truly feared her roommate wasn't just asleep, but awake with intent. She doesn't remember everything. Only fragments remain, buried under layers of fear and resilience. All she could wish for was peace. No more strangers sleeping beside her, no more whispers in the dark. Her university days began with quiet nights and lonely libraries, perfect for studying until the dark started creeping in. She'd chosen solitude, until her final term forced her into late-night battles against time and terror. Her professors were legends, demanding, relentless, but nothing compared to what waited behind the locked doors. The deadline was looming, one more night of pressure, and maybe something else would break through. 11:30. The moment everything changed, the air grew still, and then someone started walking. She sat there, debated leaving. 10 minutes later, heard it again, footsteps, but this time above me. One tile shifted slightly, weight pressing down. Then a creak, like lowering yourself carefully. That's it. Yanked out my flash drive, ran for the door, stepped into hallway, different world. Got to stairwell, opened the door and started down, then looked up. One floor above me, a man, not student, not professor. Bolted, raced downstairs, almost tripped, slammed through first floor door, ran for the front entrance, sprint across campus, not stopping until I hit my dorm, locked the door behind me, back pressed against it, catching breath. Next morning, went back only because I had to turn in the project, business building during daylight, totally different vibe, but something made my stomach drop. One ceiling tile missing, the exact one above where I'd been working, and another from the corner, the one that shifted when someone was moving around. Like they were watching me work, then came back. Rattled the door handle to mess with me. When it wouldn't open, climbed back up into the ceiling, entered from there. Dread what his intention might have been. If he entered before I ran, I'm buying a new laptop. From now on, finishing assignments in my own dorm room. My name's Annabelle, 20 years old. From the UK, this happened to me in high school, which is I was 16 when this happened. It's the scariest day of my life, and you'll see why. It sounds dramatic, but trust me, you're about to see why. Everyone needed an ID to enter, except classrooms. That's where the danger started. I drank the entire jug, no time for spills or bathroom breaks. I asked the teacher, he let me go, but no one else was around. I walked into the cafeteria empty, then I saw him. He was old, like a teacher or parent, and then he said, "Hey." I squealed, embarrassed, but he laughed, said he didn't mean to scare me. I realized his ID was flipped. Kids did it all the time, but not a teacher. He asked me to help him, and I agreed. Didn't think much of it. I assumed he was the teacher, but he didn't say a word, just kept walking, hands fidgeting. Annabelle didn't try to chat. Walked toward the car park, about 50 meters away. Bushes obscured it until you got close. Walked straight ahead without turning. Off school property. Silence again. Then he said, "Yeah, my stuff's in the trunk." A few bags, he added. "Can you carry a couple into the school?" "Sure," I said. Got to car park. He pointed out his blue car at the end. As we got closer, saw something in back seat. Closer still, 2 men hiding there. Froze. Instead of running blanked, they must have seen me see them. Back door swung open. One man scrambling out. The teacher grabbed my arm as I turned to run. Tall, large guy. I'm 5'2" and underweight. Adrenaline, whatever it was, yanked my arm free and started running back toward school. Could hear heavy footsteps behind me, but they stopped when I hit the glass doors. Automatic had to wait for them to open. If they kept going caught up, glass doors risked getting caught. But someone walking by anyway, got into fire escape, ran straight into cafe attached to library. Found person working there told her what happened. She came with me into the teacher's office, called parents, police. Security cameras in parking lot caught them. Charged with attempted kidnapping. Turned out the man entered because some kid dropped their ID outside school, and he flipped it over, used that to sneak in. Didn't go back to school for a couple weeks. Still doing therapy. But writing this down, sharing my story, helps me process things. Still, this remains the scariest experience of